It started with silence, but ended in a storm. When Jeremiah Carter stepped into Crestwood Middle School for the first time, the entire hallway seemed to freeze. Not because of anything he did, but because he was different. His skin was darker. His accent slightly different. His silence, louder than any words. He had just moved from Atlanta to a small town in North Carolina, a town where everyone already knew everyone and everyone noticed the newcomer. His mother, Angela Carter, had decided to move after Jeremiah's father, Marcus, passed away from a sudden heart attack 6 months earlier. Angela wanted a new beginning. She hoped a smaller town, with a slower pace, might give them space to heal. But healing didn't come easy for Jeremiah. He had lost not just his father, but his mentor, his coach, his protector. On the first day, Jeremiah walked with his eyes low, his footsteps quiet, clutching his backpack like a shield. Teachers smiled politely, but their warmth didn't reach their eyes. Students stared. Some whispered. Others just looked through him, as if he didn't belong. It didn't take long for the whispers to become words, and for those words to become wounds. The bullies arrive. It started with one boy, Cole Patterson, the son of a local police officer. Blonde, brash, and used to being the center of attention. He led a small pack of followers, Logan, who laughed at everything he said, Mason, who acted tough but always hid behind the others, and Trent, the quiet one who watched more than he spoke. They noticed Jeremiah by the second week. "Hey, new kid," Cole called one day in the hallway. "You sure you're in the right school?" Jeremiah didn't respond. He just tightened his grip on his books and kept walking. That silence, that refusal to react, made Cole feel small, and small boys often try to look big by tearing others down. From that day on, it escalated. They knocked over Jeremiah's tray in the cafeteria. They pushed him into lockers. One day, they even poured chocolate milk into his backpack, ruining his textbooks. Teachers saw, but they only offered half-hearted warnings. No suspensions. No calls home. Just a pat on the back and, try to stay out of trouble, okay? To Jeremiah, it felt like no one cared. He stopped eating lunch. He avoided eye contact. And at home, he told his mom he was fine. But he wasn't. At night, he cried into his pillow, missing his father more than ever. Marcus Carter had been a youth coach, a community leader, and a gentle giant. When the world gets ugly, he used to say, you don't get smaller, you rise taller. But Jeremiah didn't feel tall. He felt invisible. A spark of strength. Everything shifted one rainy Wednesday during gym class. Coach Reynolds announced basketball tryouts. Every student buzzed with excitement, especially Cole, who was the star of last year's team. Jeremiah sat quietly at the back, doodling in his notebook. "You gonna try out?" Eli, a pale, lanky boy who sat beside him in English, asked. Jeremiah shook his head. Not interested. But that was a lie. Basketball was everything to him, it was what he shared with his father. In Atlanta, he had led his school's team to the district championships. But here? He didn't want to give Cole another reason to mock him. Still, the thought lingered. That night, he laced up his old sneakers and walked to the park alone. Under the dim light of a broken street lamp, he practiced. The rhythm returned. The bounce, the spin, the shot, muscle memory from a better time. He whispered to the sky, "This one's for you, Dad." The next morning, he signed up for tryouts. The game that changed everything. On the day of tryouts, the gym buzzed with energy. Jeremiah walked in quietly, wearing his late father's old training shirt. As soon as Cole saw him, he sneered. "Really? You gonna play with us?" Coach Reynolds shrugged. "Everyone gets a fair shot." The drills began. Jeremiah was fast, sharp, and focused. One by one, he outpaced the others in sprints, outshot them in free throws, and even outmaneuvered Cole during scrimmages. The room started to murmur. Whispers turned to cheers. Even Coach raised an eyebrow. Finally, Coach set up a one-on-one challenge. Cole versus Jeremiah. "Let's see what you've got." Cole grinned, confident. Time to teach you how we play here. But what followed wasn't a lesson, it was a statement. Jeremiah played like fire. He dodged, crossed, spun, and shot, each move graceful and precise. Cole tried to foul him, tried to push, to block, but nothing worked. The final point came with a leap and a slam that echoed off the gym walls. Silence. Then wild applause. The rise. From that day forward, everything changed. People saw Jeremiah differently. He wasn't the quiet black kid anymore, he was that player. Teachers began to engage more. Students nodded in the hallways. Some even apologized. He made the team. And not just as a benchwarmer, Coach Reynolds named him co-captain. But more importantly, he found his voice. Jeremiah joined the debate team after Ms. Dorsey encouraged him. His first speech? What strength looks like in silence. His words made people listen, really listen, for the first time. With Eli's help, Jeremiah started an anti-bullying campaign called Stand With Us. They organized awareness days, classroom visits, and even created a buddy system for new students. Jeremiah also met with the principal and shared his experience, the racism, the silence of the staff, the bullying that went ignored. To everyone's surprise, the school board responded. Diversity training was introduced. Teachers became more attentive. And for once, real change began. The moment of full circle. Months later, at the end-of-year school assembly, Jeremiah stood on stage with a trophy in his hands, the Heart of Crestwood Award, given to the student who inspired the greatest change. His mom sat in the front row, eyes glistening with tears. Eli gave him a thumbs up. Even Cole, now quieter, offered a respectful nod. Jeremiah took the mic, looked out into the crowd, and took a breath. I came here hoping for peace. But I found pain. I came here feeling small. But I found strength. Not because people believed in me, but because I learned to believe in myself. My dad used to say, the storm doesn't break you. It reveals you. I hope today, you see me not for my skin, my silence, or my story, but for who I become. Because every kid deserves to feel like they matter. And now, I know that I do. Final message. Jeremiah's story is a reminder. You may be knocked down. You may be mocked, silenced, or judged. But your worth is not defined by others, it is proven by how you rise.